It's been 21 years, but this weekend the Xfinity Series makes its glorious return to the Rock. Not that rock. This rock. Unfortunately, my excitement levels for this weekend have been dropped a little bit because despite announcing an already sold out crowd for a cupless weekend at a once iconic racetrack, some of these teams still forgot to put their paint schemes on NASCAR.com. I'm going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, because they're probably just too busy nursing the wounds from the ass-kicking Kyle Larson gave them at Bristol. But anyway, it's the 10th race of the season, and there's paint schemes to review. Let's go. Starting us off with a screenshot from the Junior Motorsports Twitter because they couldn't get their paint schemes on NASCAR.com is Carson Kvapil. You may have also already noticed that we skipped over Sheldon Creed. Well, that's because instead of putting their paint schemes on NASCAR.com, Haas Factory Team is too busy putting the pieces of Creed's car back together like it's the Titanic Lego set. This car fucks, though. 10. It was announced a little bit ago that Jesse Love will be making at least 2 more Cup starts this year with the 62 car at Texas and Indianapolis. That seems like a pretty strange combination of tracks, but Jesse also golfs barefoot. So, should we be surprised? 9. Parker Retzlaff wasn't even a year old the last time the Xfinity Series ran at Rockingham, but for whatever reason, this feels like a track he'd be really good at. 9. Patrick Emmerling has a pretty busy week ahead of him. He's probably going to win the Wheeling Modified race at Thompson tonight, and then he gets to run this beauty on Saturday. The number on this car feels abnormally large, but that's probably just from all the power that generator's giving off. 10. You really got to appreciate the dedication Brant's showing by running a different fruit or vegetable almost every week. This weekend, Justin Allgaier is going to be running around Rockingham in the Pepper Peddler. Yep, I came up with that all by myself. 9. I'm actually really pulling for Sammy Smith to win the Dash for Cash this weekend. That way, he can afford driving lessons. 9. I know there's not enough of you that have checked out Shake and Bake Sports. I touched a little bit on it last week, but it's this new YouTube page centered around Daniel Dye, Jesse Love, and Connor Zilic. It does a really good job of showcasing their personalities that you may not otherwise see. And they just put up their first episode on Monday, and it's pretty funny. Go check it out. 9. This is Josh Williams. 7. I have a couple things to say about this race car. First of all, I have not a clue what Molly Strong is, and quite frankly, I'm not going to look it up to find out because I want to keep the idea in my head that this car is dedicated to my dog that passed away last October. It also completely blows me away that this is the only paint scheme from the entire weekend that's running an Easter paint scheme. If they came out with a die cast of this race car, I would buy it without even flinching, regardless of a 400% tariff charge. This car fucks. And I miss you, Molly. 10. The race this weekend is the North Carolina Education Lottery 250 at Rockingham Speedway presented by Black's Tire and Auto Service. Hence this paint scheme. 8. William Sawalich has had a pretty tough rookie season so far. But now that we have officially confirmed that the real William Sawalich does follow me here on TikTok, his luck is about to turn. 9. I gotta be honest, guys. I was really expecting more out of Justin Bonsignore. He was only able to muster up a 17th place finish at Bristol. Granted, he did start about 87th. 6. So yeah, it turns out Brandon Jones is actually having a really good fucking season right now. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for a couple weeks. 6. You know, when Austin Hill isn't bitching and crying about absolutely everything, he really is pretty boring. 8. I wouldn't be able to give this car a good score even if Dex Imaging paid me $1 million. This paint scheme sucks. 0. I know I'm about to piss a lot of you off with this comment, but Casey Kane has absolutely no shot in hell of winning this race. It seems like a lot of you will defend Casey Kane with your lives. I just don't get it. Casey Kane is nothing but a slightly better version of Eric Almirola. This guy ran 6 years with Hendrick Motorsports and finished in the top 10 in points once. I don't think you guys remember how shitty this guy was running towards the end of his career. He He retired completely out of the blue and since then has done nothing but print t-shirts and run like shit in his sprint car. And the best part is, when you see him at the dirt track, this guy hides in the hauler and acts like he's prime Jimmy Johnson. I've never been a fan of Kasey Kahne. Don't let Kasey Kahne Friday cloud your judgment. This is not like Kyle Larson stepping into the Hendrick 17 and dusting everybody's ass. This is the 33 from Richard Childress that Kyle Busch couldn't even win in last year, and this is a washed up old bum of a race car driver. Clown me all you want. 9. Brennan Poole slammed into Sheldon Creed so hard at Bristol that the side of his race car peeled open like a can of Chef Boyardee. But then I see these clowns in the comments saying that the hit wasn't even that hard. The people that comment that are the same fucking clowns that would get rear-ended at 10 miles an hour and say they had a herniated disc in their neck. Why don't you just shut the fuck up and go watch soccer? 9. Alpha Prime never misses, but they can miss me with the bullshit of their brownies being $3 individually at Five Below. You guys better hope those bitches taste good when I do a review on them, or you're fucked. 10. I let the internet convince me that Taylor Gray was going to get his first win last weekend. Now I'm broke. Thanks, guys. 6. I didn't have elevator company sponsorship on my 2025 bingo card, but I also didn't think that Kasey Kahne would ever come back, so here we are. 10. You guys really scared the shit out of me this past weekend when the rumor came out that Mike Harmon Racing was shutting down for good. It turns out that dumbasses on the internet just don't know how to read. When a part-time team skips out on a race weekend, it doesn't mean they're closing down for good. It just means they're skipping out on a race weekend. 10. I don't even think I ever mentioned that Zilich announced another cup race. He's running the Coke 600. I think he's only running because he knows I'm going to be there. Maybe Trackhouse won't be racing lawnmowers by then. But probably not. 9. I may just be a gigantic fat ass, but every time I see Insurance King on a race car, my mind goes directly to Burger King and Smoothie King. Yeah, I'm definitely just a fat ass. 10. And the paint scheme of the week goes to Garrett Smithley and the Molly Machine. This car was probably going to win no matter what because they brought an Easter paint scheme to Easter weekend. But there really wasn't much competition. Y'all need to be better next week. But here's the current Xfinity Series paint scheme review point standings. See you guys next week at Talladega. Later.